guys. I'm so happy that you're here still with us. I'm actually into 2 weeks with this intermittent fasting journey, and I just wanted to share it with you going forward. I have some really good results for intermittent fasting that I'm doing. My journal here that I'm sharing on YouTube. And the good results is, as you remember, I started off at day 0 at 239.8. And then here we are on day 15 after completing 2 weeks. And I'm down to 229.8. So I'm really excited about the results, and as you remember, everything started with a 16-8 fasting plan. I'm actually feeling a lot leaner around my stomach area, especially around my belly area and the back area, which I anticipated would be the first sections to go. So now that I'm actually in the program and I'm actually getting really good results, I want to stay motivated. So I want to take it to the next level of fasting, and I'm going to try something new for the next week. I'm going to stick to the 16-8 daily, but as you know, I mentioned in the previous video, there's also another type of fasting called alternate day fasting, and that's where you actually you eat one day regular hours, and then the next day no food, and then you eat regular the next day, and then the next day no food. So I want to keep going. My goal is to lose another 10 pounds by the end of January. As you remember from the previous video, that was my secondary short-term goal. My first short-term goal was to lose 7 pounds, and I think that was in about 10 days. And then now I'm at 10 pounds in 14 days lost. So my next goal is to integrate 16-8 daily, where I'll only eat during the hours of 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. And the following day I'll alternate where I don't eat and I'll just drink a lot of water and a lot of tea. I want to see if by lengthening the fasting period, where I'm actually in more of the advanced fat burning, stored fat mode, if I actually accelerate my results and I actually lose that next 10 pounds actually faster than I thought I would. Because the reason I'm giving myself a little bit more time to December 31st is because I thought I would plateau, where I'd probably lose maybe 6 pounds really fast in the first 2 weeks of the program, and then I would need a little bit more time to lose the next 4 or 5 pounds. But I think that by trying to accelerate it, because now my body's getting used to the hunger pains in the morning, it's at the point now where I'm actually adapting pretty well to that window of time between 8 p.m. and noon, where I'm saying to myself, oh, I need to eat something. And that's when my first meal is. I can tell you for the first 2 days it was really difficult doing this program because of the hunger pains. And I had most of my hunger pains, of course, when I woke up in the morning. And once you start going and you get into your activities, you realize you haven't eaten anything. And we're so programmed to eating breakfast in the morning, and I was never a person who ate processed carbs like cereal or Honey Smacks or any of those cereals or Kashi or anything. I would usually have a sensible breakfast, but usually that breakfast happened between 8 and 9 o'clock, so my body was used to it for many years. So for me to break the habit of eating in the morning was really rough for the first 2 to 3 days, I do tell you. But then a lot of different things are actually starting to happen now. I feel like I have a lot more energy. I am not overeating during my window of 8 hours. Sometimes I get to 7 p.m. And I have to remind myself, oh, I have another hour to eat, because I'm not going to be eating anything for the next 16 hours. So I have to actually tell myself, eat something now, because you're going to be hungry by the time you get to 12 noon tomorrow. And I find that I'm actually getting to 7 p.m. now, and I'm actually okay with my last meal being at 6 or 7 p.m., which is kind of strange. But as I mentioned before, this is my journey, my journal. I'm sharing it with you under disclaimer that you'll definitely check with your licensed dietitian, or you check with your primary care physician to see if this is something that you can do based on your own personal medical history. But this is definitely working. I don't feel like I have given up or sacrificed a lot to lose the first 10 pounds. And I feel like I'm going to achieve the next milestone of losing 20 pounds total. I'll actually feel a huge difference in my body. I'm actually feeling it already. And that's just with 10 pounds lost in the first 2 weeks, and it flew by in no time. That's the thing. A lot of people might say, well, 10 pounds in 2 weeks, that's not really a lot. But keep in mind, it's not something where I was going to the gym every day and I'm starving myself during regular hours and increasing my activity, hoping to make that goal. I was simply structuring my weight loss plan based on a simple method of 16-8. And then I've seen some people who actually do something like 18-6, where they may start eating at 11 a.m. and stop eating at 5 p.m. So there are variations of this, but I've found that this is probably the best because it's the most popular, and most people feel like by the time you have your last meal, maybe 0 to 4 hours to digest, digestion and absorption. By the time you get into that mode, you're ready to go into your sleep cycle, and then you get 8 hours and you wake up, and then you only have to wait maybe 3 or 4 hours before you have your first meal. So this is probably the most popular one going forward. I just want to quickly share a few tips with you. I switched out a lot of meals, as you saw in previous videos, for high protein, high carb, and high protein, high fiber, but low carb. So you saw me switch out a lot of meals for just some whole wheat toast with tuna fish. Also, I'm a big fan of the black beans with a smaller amount of rice mixed in. That goes well with a lot of dishes. You can eat it with fish. You can eat it with lean baked chicken. I like to have it with a pot roast that I sometimes make. It's just a simple pot roast, couple slices of chunk roast chopped up with some seasoning and a lot of mushrooms. I love mushrooms. So, and mushrooms are low, or they're probably low carb, but I'm not sure. But they're really healthy. But I love mushrooms and I love broccoli. So, another thing too, I wanted to make a note for my subscribers and those who are interested in using this program. Because of the events of 2020, it really helped me to really ponder and consider exactly the state of the nation, the state of obesity in the United States, and I just didn't want to be part of that crowd anymore. So sometimes you just have to take the bull by the horns and just do your own research and find out what's going to work for you to become healthier and feel better. And 2020 is an eye-opener for a lot of people on a lot of different levels because of what we're facing with this thing that's floating around. And you have to become healthier. It helps you to really focus on becoming healthier as a person going forward, because you know how important it is, just because of the state of the world right now, and why being healthy and eating right and keeping a good mental mindset is so important to surviving the storm and then going forward to have a good future. So my goal is longevity with this program. It's not going to be a stop and go, because I don't want to gain the weight that I lost. So it's something I want to keep going. Ultimately, my goal is to get under 200 pounds, possibly, ideally, 175, 180. It's going to take me some time to get there, but I think I can do it. It might take me a few months, but that's why this is a journal, and we're documenting all the way for the first 6 months my results. And I'm going to share with you everything that I'm doing, share some recipes with you, and share some tips that I've learned. My body has basically become an experiment for this journal, and I'm doing a daily update just to share any tips that I've learned along the way, any little exercising. Exercising might be a little difficult when you're fasting because you just don't feel like you have the energy. And that's fine. I'm not doing anything extended like going without food for like 6 days straight. I'm just simply doing 16-8 daily, and I'm going to test drive integrating it with every other day no food. So for example, Monday will be 16-8, and then I'll do Tuesday will be my first alternate, and then this will be Monday, my regular 16-8, and then Tuesday I'll try no food at all, just drinking a lot of water, and then I'll be back to my regular 16-8 here. Instead of this, it'll be 16-8. I'll have food, but 16-8, and so forth. I'll try it for a week and see what my results are, and see if I go crazy or not. If not, I'll just go back to 16-8. No harm, no foul, but at least I'll see how it feels. It might just be an issue of me adapting. So I do appreciate your time going forward, and thank you so much. I hope this is motivation going forward. For 2021, and definitely the results are there. Even if this is a short-term goal for you, then you would have, there's enough content there for you to possibly achieve your goal based on what I've published so far. But the next step is going to be to lose 10 more by the 31st. All right then. Well, thanks for watching, and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for all the support, and good day.